Dan.
Yeah. Okay, so
Everybody at InfoWars is watching. They love this.
yeah, they're a
You
little
know,
scared to have me on over there, I think.
I gotta say, having no moderators for conversations like this is real. This is where men are. You know, this is something only men can do. I think this is where Jake and I really connected in the beginning of this whole parlay was, you know, let's be respectful. Let's let each other talk. Let's have a serious conversation that we don't spurg or scream over each other or get into these stupid internet things that need moderators. Let's be men and talk about things, allow each other to speak, and hopefully evolve and grow and change things.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that, you know, I was listening to this nonsense interview, and you said that the Nazis were gassing Jews in VW.
In the beginning, yeah.
It's not true.
Okay, let's go, man.
Do you know who invented the mobile gas chamber?
Tell me.
Isaiah Berg. And it was a Soviet Jew, and it was before World War II started. And he was gassing Christians in his car. Look it up.
Yes, Nazis did use carbon monoxide gas from car engines
Not
to murder
Nazis.
people.
This is in the Soviet Union.
And it included the use of sealed vans and trucks, some of which may have used engines similar to those.
Who invented the mobile gas chamber? Right there.
You're saying Isaiah Berg.
Yep. Prior
mobile
to World War
gas
II.
chamber.
Yeah,
okay, hold on. Where
VW?
Where was the mobile gas chamber used? That's
Russia.
1937.
Okay, yeah, Russia. Prior to World War II.
Yeah, but it just says right here.
Jews killing Christians.
We're talking about specifically about the Holocaust. I know you like to talk about this Jews killing Christians
because that
and
happened.
this whole what's it called? The
Bolshevik genocide.
The Bolshevik genocide. They also killed Jews too.
No, they didn't.
They did.
That's
They
another
killed
thing you lied
religious
about.
Jews.
No, they didn't.
They killed anybody that had anything that had to do with the Torah. There wasn't a lot of Jews over there, Dan.
Yeah, there was.
You're talking. What's the guy's name? You guys always talk about him.
Henryk Yagoda.
Gagoda, right?
Yeah,
such a common Jewish name, right?
He was in charge of the gulags. All those guys changed their names, hiding that they were Jews.
You know, Gagoda's never been a Jewish name.
They changed their names.
To what? What was it before?
Non-Jewish sounding names.
What was his name before?
Hold on, I'll get to that.
So this is about to become like a chat GPT debate where everybody's fact-checking everybody else. Which is kind of stupid, if you ask me.
I mean, not really if you want to get the facts. If you have the facts on your side, then it's not stupid. So, how many Jews were killed by the Bolsheviks? There's no evidence that the Bolsheviks ever carried out any systematic campaign to kill Jews because they were Jewish. Shocking. There it is, right there.
What was it?
Because they were fucking Jewish.
Did the Bolsheviks
This is the brand new chat GPT, the Jewish-owned AI.
Jews.
Getting along well.
So here's the thing: your chat here's what's so bizarre about ChatGPT. Your ChatGPT is going to feed you based on your inputs. So is mine. So my ChatGPT says yes, the Bolsheviks and the Soviet regime targeted and persecuted religious Jews. Your ChatGPT is saying they didn't.
I said how many Jews were killed by the Bolsheviks, and it said there's no evidence that the Bolsheviks ever carried out a systemic campaign to kill Jews because they were Jewish. It literally said that.
Stupid.
Yeah, I think originally they were, and there was a purge by Stalin, but I don't think it was 8 million. I think it was a purge of some of the top officials.
It's fucking bullshit. There wasn't even 8 million Jews there. How could there be 8 million Jews in fucking Russia?
Yeah, I haven't researched the fucking.
You know how many Jews there were in Germany?
There was a lot of Jews in Russia.
Do you know how many Jews
Russia was one of the biggest.
2 million, I think, or something.
1939.
Now this debate's a 2-on-1. So if we're gonna go 2-on-1,
I'll sit out.
You could sit out, but you could talk. But
I'll chill for a second.
Are you saying that Jake lost so bad that he needed to fill in?
He's a nice guy.
We were having a conversation, not really a debate.
He just declared me the
I was
winner.
having more of a conversation.
Jake is a super fucking nice guy that can like rip your head off and shit down your neck at any given time. He's like the epitome of like the guy that doesn't have to beat it on his chest because he's such a fucking badass. But he's also like a super nice guy.
Maybe I'm being too nice. We
He's
shouldn't
like
have hung out last
typical
night.
Gentile, you know, like
Wait, typical Gentiles are nice?
Yeah, naturally
And
fucking nice.
Gentiles won't screw other Gentiles,
Not historically. Not like
historically.
Jews have fucked over.
So you don't think that like let's say that there was a world where Jews weren't a part of it. It was only, you think there would be some kumbaya moment, lions sleeping with lambs?
I think there would be issues, just a lot less.
It's so naive, Dan.
Why?
Because throughout history, Gentile nations have warred against each other even when there were no Jews present.
Yeah, but a lot of the wars were started by Jews.
Look at Stu Peters. He just rug pulled and stole all this money from all these anti-Semites, and everybody was like,
that's still up for debate.
that shows you Stu Peters is
I'm not going to talk on it because I don't know about it.
Stu Peters is a very clear example that not all Jews are bad and not all Gentiles are good.
I didn't say all Gentiles are good, and I didn't say all Jews are bad. I just said that Jews are disproportionately causing problems, and that they also have a supremacist belief system, and it's built into their religion that it's okay to fuck over non-Jews. So when you have a mentality that like you're better than other people, you're going to act like an asshole. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying every Jew's bad. I'm not saying every Christian is good. What I am saying is that Christians don't teach each other, hey, you can fuck over the Jews. It's okay. They're not Christian. Jews, on the other hand, teach that. So when you have a supremacist
We don't teach
belief,
that,
yes,
actually.
you fucking do.
No, we
It's
don't.
It's in your Talmud. It literally says.
You
want to
go to the Talmud with me?
I
Bro,
do.
I would love to go to the Talmud with
Okay,
you.
because I have some fucking quotes. I could pull up a whole bunch.
You're going to pull up the meme that I did a
No, I'm not
3-hour
gonna pull up a
documentary
meme.
on.
No, I'm not going to pull up a meme. I'm going to pull up the exact translation. Because
Let's
there
do
was
it.
the meme, and then there was like a
I
whole
have done this
breakdown
show
of it.
so many times.
I guess I'm
Good,
switching to
I haven't
mediator.
done the show, but I can give you the exact
I know, now
translation.
I'm mediator. I'll try to be fair.
Jake, Adam King and Jake
I got
Shields
kicked out of my
You
debate.
got kicked off your own show to be
I look
made.
at my text message and everyone's mad at me. Apparently, I was being too nice.
Really?
They're like, oh, you're.
This
I
is
was
what
trying
I
to have
don't
a
understand
conversation, but it's
because
all right.
look,
let's try to do
if we don't talk to each other, we're gonna end up killing each other. The only way that we make
maybe
peace,
some people want that.
a lot of people do want that, but the only way that we're gonna make peace
Yeah.
is by making it.
I should
not
have
gonna
gone a little
make
harder
peace.
on some of the things.
Well, here's one of them.
We're not
this-
gonna make peace
this
if
one
we
came
just
up.
want to fight each other till one of us dies. That's just the bottom line.
This one came up. This is the Mishnah Torah.
Okay.
If by contrast,
What's the quote? The exact line. Let me pull it up on Safari.
I'm going to read you the exact.
Give me the reference.
Passage.
Okay.
So this is, if by contrast, a Jewish male enters into relations with a Gentile woman, when he does so intentionally, she should be executed. She is executed because she caused a
I know
Jew
which
to
one
be
you're talking
involved
about.
in an unseemly transgression, as is the law with regard to an animal. This applies regardless of whether the Gentile woman was a minor of 3 years of age or an adult, whether she was single or married. And it applies to if even the Jew was a minor of 9 years of age, she is executed. This punishment is explicitly mentioned in the Torah as Numbers.
It sounds like you're reading off of a commentary.
No,
what
this
is
a literal direct translation?
Mishnah Torah, forbidden intermarriage. No, this is okay, hold on.
It's a
This is
direct quote. This is a direct
Hold
quote.
on.
This is
Can
not
I
like
see
an
it?
interpretation.
I'm gonna find
This
the
is
quote. Give
what
me a
it says.
second.
And so it's saying that if an adult fucks a 3-year-old, that you should kill the 3-year-old if it's a non-Jew because that
No,
3-year-old
you're
caused the
missing.
Jew to
I
sin.
know this exact one. You're missing an entire segment.
What do I need? What do I need in there to tell me that
The
like,
Talmud is
you should
compri-
kill the child because the child caused the Jew?
You got to
to
let
sin?
me speak, or else
Okay.
you're just preaching.
Go ahead.
So, the Talmud is comprised of literally at least 20,000 authors.
Okay.
So I believe, and I'm gonna pull this up. Actually, let me get my glasses because I can't see shit. I remember this one from a previous debate, and I don't want to misquote my answer, but I want to find the exact page because these are like arguments that are going on for like 5 pages of debate.
Let me get you the actual.
Give me the actual source reference, and then we can learn the whole page, not the line.
Okay.
Happy to do that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the part about Midian, but I'm not entirely. I don't want to misquote anything, but we will go through it.
Okay.
So but you're talking about the Mishnah Torah. That's not the Talmud.
That's one.
The Mishnah Torah is the writings of the Rambam. That was 1,000 years ago. That's not Talmud.
That's part of the Talmud.
It's not. The Rambam was Rabbi Moshe Maimonides. He was a famous physician to the Sultan of Egypt. and he was so the Talmud is the Mishnah. These are the Tanaim. They spanned for about a period of 300 or so years. After them came the Amoraim, which is another 300 to 400 years, and then the Rishonim, the Tanai, the Goanim.
This is the Mishnah Torah. That's what that's
so
from.
he's a Rishon. He comes much later than the Talmud. This is not from the Talmud at all.
Okay. I mean, I think it's still egregious. But
the Rambam says a lot of things that are egregious. In fact, the Rambam says towards the end of the Rambam's life, all he did was write tshuvas. What tshuvas is when they write something based on something that they said in the past, saying, I was wrong, I didn't support this. So one thing that we learned from the Rambam is that he was writing tshuvas all the way up until his death. So we don't know what the Rambam didn't get to write a tshuva for. We don't know what he felt. There was a lot of tshuvas that he wrote.
The Rambam was, but there
That's
who
you're quoting.
Soldiers that abducted a non-Jewish girl. They gang raped her over 3 days, and then they killed her. And it was decided and carried out. They washed her, cut her hair, raped her, and then killed her. And this is from an Israeli article. So
are we talking about a modern Israeli thing, or are we talking about the Rambam still?
No, modern Israeli. I'm giving you examples of how this is being carried out today.
So what you guys like to do is you guys like to cherry pick certain things and then weave them all together and say all the Jews are this, and that's the argument.
Say all the Jews are this, but when you have in your religious book of text that it's okay to fuck over a non-Jew and it's okay to steal from a non-Jew and it's okay to rape a non-Jew, and then you've got real-world examples of them doing that in Israel and there's no consequence, that's clearly evidence that that's part of your law. And the Talmud is a Jewish book of law. So
it's not actually.
That's what it says.
The Shulchan Aruch is the Jewish code of law.
Okay, well, why do they list
the Talmud? The
Jewish book of law?
The Talmud are ancient arguments that took place from this thing called the Anshe Knesset Gedola, when the Jews came back from the original Babylonian exile after 70 years. Ezra the Sofer, the book of Ezra from the Bible, he's a Tana. He's also a Navi, the last of the prophets. These are the writings. These are the collected writings of all the prophets, all the ancient judges like Joshua from the times of Moses.
Okay,
and they're all compiled
I don't need
inside.
The whole dissertation. I'm just going to read you what it says.
Well, if you bring up a
Google
topic,
I'm just going to read you what it says.
If you're going to crash the debate and then bring up a topic, you got to let me explain it.
Well, there's what you say, which you're going to go on a thing, and I'm telling you what it says when you just Google it. The Talmud is the central text of rabbinic Judaism, is the primary source of Jewish religious law, Hakna, and Jewish theology.
Halacha.
Okay, until the advent of modernity in nearly all Jewish communities, the Talmud was the centerpiece of Jewish cultural life and was the foundation to all Jewish thought and aspirations, serving as the guide, the daily life of Jews. The Talmud includes teachings and opinions of thousands of rabbis on a variety of subjects, including blah, 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 blah. So it's saying that it's like the second most important piece of rabbinic text.
So what happened with the Talmud? Basically, like I said, the Mishnah, the Gemara, the Rishonim, the Achraim, they all carry down this tradition that goes into the Shulchan Aruch, which was written by Rabbi Yosef Karo in the 1400s. And the Shulchan Aruch is the unified book of all law for Ashkenazim, Sephardim, every Jew on earth. Mm-hmm. The code of law is called the Shulchan Aruch, and law is halacha. So the Talmud is where it all stems from. It's arguments of 20,000 people. Many people that, like the people who quote Talmud quotes, they were wrong in the argument. They lost the debates.
You had 2,000 years to take it out. Why would it still be in there?
We don't take them out. They were part of the conversation that created the law.
But that is the law then, right?
You know the difference between the Jews and the ancient Egyptians, besides the fact that we're still here and they're not? If you go to any Egyptian monument, it'll say, this pharaoh was so great. He did everything right. He was righteous and wonderful. You go to the next obelisk, same thing. It never says they fucked up, they ran the nation into the ground. You open the book of Kings. You open the book of Judges. They're fucking up all the time. We are writing our sins. We are airing them out. We are saying, yes, we sinned. We did things that were not okay in the eyes of Hashem in the ancient world. We were sent into exile because of that.
Okay.
We don't cover up our mistakes.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about covering up mistakes. I'm saying like.
Who's this guy? We got another now?
We're going 4-on-1. We brought you.
A 3 on.
We brought you.
Is this another Fuentes thing I got to deal with? Who's rage quitting?
I'm staying out of it now. I'm
Who's
just,
rage
I'm just
quitting?
moderating because it's not fair to go 2-on-1. Oh, this is it works for me.
Oh, okay.
No one else is joining.
He's in house. He's not joining.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Did you? That was like the worst. It's always hard when you bring in new people, and it's like, I remember when we were doing that debate, and I didn't even know Zirkle was coming in.
Zirka, he's kind of funny. But
Kind of.
aggressive, huh?
Kind of.
He'd be kind of aggressive.
And he just came into Zig Heil and tried to trip me up because they were losing and they didn't want. And then Gavin with his rage quit. So it's always hard when you bring new people into.
Like Islam better than Christianity.
It was a 15-minute conversation about the Catholic crimes against the Jewish people. 67 popes directly made edicts to kill Jews. And I was talking about
But why,
specific books because they don't. The truth is that the Torah and Catholicism have certain. Catholicism likes to preach that it's a replacement theology. And they need to limit, or some popes have felt that if Judaism is allowed to flourish, people will question Jesus in a lot of different ways.
Well, I mean, they are at odds.
So anyways, in the debate, we were talking about different artifacts. I did an episode on my show with Rabbi Benjamin Blech, who was very close with John Paul II. And he actually went to the Vatican and was afforded to see actual artifacts from the Rambam, actually. Certain pages of the Rambam that were missing because they stole them, and we don't have his answer. So like you're quoting Mishnah Torah. There's a lot of the Rambam that the Vatican has that Jews aren't allowed to see. So a lot of the discussions in the Rambam are unresolved because of that. So he was actually afforded the opportunity to see in the catacombs. And we were talking about like artifacts and whatnot, and that's what when that's when it came. Well, that's when it came up. He's like, "Would you rather?" Because we were talking, and I said specifically, I said, "I see a very big difference between Christians and Catholics. First of all, Protestantism went through so much conflict just to be independent and have their own form
Martin
of
Luther,
Jesus."
What was his
I mean, look, we can talk about the
That's
old
Lutheran. That's not.
shit. I mean, listen, we can talk about the old
You're
shit.
the one
but-
bringing up the old
I'm
shit.
giving you real-world examples of where this stuff is being
You've given me
implemented.
an example of a poor rape victim.
Okay, I'll
May
give you
they
another
be?
one. How about the IDF taps chief rabbi who once seemed to permit wartime rape?
Who? Never heard. Why do you hear this, but I don't
I mean,
ever
this
hear
isn't the
this?
times.
Well,
of
there was the
Israel.
guy
I'm
that
not-
said
I'm
they
not-
kill babies
I'm
as
not
a hobby.
bringing up like obscure shit.
I don't
This
want to
is
make like 2-on-1.
IDF
though,
taps
so.
Front page
Shiva,
Times of
IL
Israel.
Karam, also women's enlisted. These are just memes. Do you have the actual
That's not
article?
a meme. That's a fucking article.
No,
from
that's
the
a
Times of
that's
Israel.
a picture.
tons of
No,
articles
No,
like
because
this.
it's attached
Do you have the-
to this, which is
Can I see the article?
well, this is yeah.
You mean
I can
all
get
your
the
memes
article.
are attached in a picture file?
No, I
Dan,
have- no.
You can't crash a debate and do that.
You wanted the Talmud shit, so I'm giving you a list of Talmud quotes with real-world implementation of
Oh,
that Talmud
so they made
quote.
like
Well, did you see
they
the
made
guy
a
that
hit
says they
piece.
kill
I see.
babies as a hobby? Then he rolled it back. It was a government. It was a government official in Israel. Here,
That's
I'll look it up. I
ridiculous.
don't know his name,
That's so forbidden in Judaism
but someone did say a government official.
What's forbidden in Judaism?
to harm children.
That's not true at all.
It is true.
You guys
Why
suck
would I
on the
play?
penises of babies and give them herpes.
Let's
What the
talk
fuck are
about
you talking
Mafitz Bepay. Do you
Yeah,
know?
go
Do you know what
ahead.
it is?
Oh, here's
I mean,
the here's the
you're
here's
Yeah,
the
do you know
sucking
the
on
name?
You're sucking on
Here's
the
the article
penis of a
again.
baby.
First of all, that's not widely practiced in Judaism.
Here's
I mean, the fact that it's
I have
practiced
a
at all
I
is-
have a
is
bris milah.
pedophilia.
I have a bris milah. I wasn't.
That's the one
Yeah,
you
there you
got.
go. There's the article. You want the non-picture version? There it is.
I wasn't. I never had Mafitz Bepay. Nobody I know had Mafitz
Okay, but that
Bepay.
doesn't mean that it doesn't happen.
I've been to thousands of circumcisions.
Okay.
I've never seen Mafitz Bepay.
But why does it happen? Why is it allowed
It's like
to
an
happen?
old
Why can
world
it-
It's like an Amish thing.
Okay.
Like,
The
do you?
Amish don't suck the dicks of children.
What I'm saying is when I
Not
say
Amish.
when I say it's an Amish thing, I'm saying it's like there is a word. First of all, it shouldn't happen. I don't support it. I want to condone it. I don't support Mafitz Bepay. I think it's strange that like such a like a minor thing that's not widely accepted. In fact, most
it's not that
thing.
minor.
It's a very
Adults
minor
suck on a
thing.
child's dick and give them
You're
herpes
missing my
and fuck
point.
them up. Like, I
You're-
think that's
you're
a serious
missing my
thing.
point,
But the
Dan.
fact that that's even like allowed and that's not condemned by your religion is crazy.
I'd condemn it.
Okay, but you're one guy.
Many rabbis condemn it also.
I haven't heard it. I mean, but
Yeah, because you don't look
regardless.
for it. You look for where you can blame Jews, not where you're.
I
You
look
don't
at
fact check
problems,
yourself.
And they happen to be caused by Jews almost every time. I didn't just like wake
I
up
wanna
and
ask you a
say,
question.
hey, it's the Jews.
You said something once, not to change the subject, but maybe it's a good thing to change the subject. You said you would rather eat cow dung than kiss the Western Wall.
Yes.
You would really eat cow dung?
Then pledge allegiance to that fucking
Not to
genocidal
pledge, not to
state?
pledge
Yes,
allegiance to
absolutely.
the state. The wall has nothing to do with
Okay,
the state.
That I would not.
The
kiss
wall is
that.
God's.
That wall to me represents fucking genocide. It represents
I would lo-
apartheid. It represents supremacy. It represents all sorts of things.
If
that
it
I'm
represents
adamantly
apartheid,
fucking
why are
against.
the Jews the ones not allowed on the Temple Mount?
I don't know what your religious
The
practices
Jews are the ones who are apartheided.
No, they're not. This total bullshit. And they've done.
This is the first time in history that Jews are allowed to go to selected Arab countries, Dubai.
That has nothing to do with what's going on in Israel.
We're
what
apartheid.
I'm talking about is
Apartheid would mean that a Jewish
talking about
Supreme
your
Court justice
country.
wouldn't be allowed to be an Arab.
what?
But Israel has a Supreme Court justice as an Arab. That wouldn't be allowed in apartheid. You're
That's not
misappropriating the term. It is true.
I'm not misappropriating.
Arabs serve in the Knesset.
They did a study.
Arabs are in the
They did a
government.
study.
Arabs are in the police force.
Okay.
Arabs are in the military.
Cool. It's their country. They did a fucking
No,
study.
it's Israel. Yeah, they're Israeli citizens.
They
If
did
there
a
was
study,
apartheid,
and more
they
Israelis
wouldn't
think
have
that.
that.
You're operating in apartheid than otherwise. More than half.
That's retarded.
Well, tell your fucking citizens because that's what they said. They
Citizens.
believe that you're operating in
Citizens,
apartheid.
are you listening right now?
Yeah, I think the Temple Mount,
You know-
isn't that where the Jewish guy terrorist came in and he killed like
No,
50
that's
or
Barak
60?
Goldstein, and he did that to prevent a massacre. Actually, and I know the
he
family.
killed terrorism to prevent a massacre.
They were plotting.
Came in
They
just plot killing women and children. And
no,
men
no,
and
they were in a mosque, stockpiling weapons. They were about to. Yeah, I know the family. I know his daughter.
That was a complete terror attack. He came in.
You're talking about Barak Goldstein from like
the guy,
50 years ago.
The guy that came in and just
40 years ago?
shot up the
In
mosque and
Hebron.
showed, like, I believe that's it. When I look it up, that was not
Yeah, they
committed
were
terrorist
like
act.
about
That's
ready
just-
to. They were about
So
ready
you're just
to.
like- you're
They're
just like
about ready to
making- so
massacre
you're
the
making
people
this
of
up.
Hebron. I'm not making it up.
They were not.
Yeah, they were.
All right.
You can't just
I'll
suggest.
look up mass
Let me ask you a
shooting.
question, Jake. Why are you guys so obsessed with just Israel?
Because we're
Our
fucking
country's
funding a
controlled by
What
them.
about
genocide
other
right
countries?
now.
What about other countries
don't
that
control
we're
our
funding?
country.
What other countries committing a genocide?
First
we're
of all,
giving fucking
using-
trillions of dollars to.
Trillions
Yeah,
is
trillions.
Come on, Jake. I mean, Dan. Trillions.
Did we not fight the fucking Iraq war for you guys? Did Netanyahu not come to Congress and testify that there's weapons of mass destruction? Have you guys not
Do you know?
led us into every
Do you actually
fucking
know
conflict?
who gave the intelligence to the Americans that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction?
I know Netanyahu testified in front of Congress.
It
and
was
said that-
Germany.
and they said that it would be way better
It was
off-
Germany. And do you know who actually built Saddam Hussein's weapons of mass destruction
didn't
program?
have any.
He did actually.
He didn't have
He was
weapons
caught
of mass
with
destruction.
massive amounts of weapons of mass destruction. He didn't have nuclear missiles.
Okay.
He had a
nukes.
plutonium reactor that was destroyed by Israel.
What about Dimona? What about the fucking
Hold
nuclear
on.
program that you guys
Now
got
you're
over there?
pivoting because you're losing.
No, I don't know. I know there was no weapons of mass destruction. You're talking about a nuclear
This
reactor.
book that I gave Jake is an amazing book. You should also read it. I got him
No
these
nuclear
two
weapons
books.
in Iraq.
These will, if you want to be a Nazi, these will improve your Nazi game. You got to
I
know.
don't want to be a Nazi. You're like sidetracking now.
I'm not
Netanyahu
sidetracking.
Absolutely.
Hold on, let me answer
testified
your question.
In front of Congress,
I was in the
that
middle
there's
of
weapons
answering
mass
your question.
destruction, and there was not.
Alan Dulles, it's very well documented in this book, negotiated along with Germany the dissolution of the German state, and the German NSDAP moved itself into other countries. Egypt, Nasser's Egypt was entirely NSDAP.
What does this have to do with anything?
I'm answering your question. We're talking about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. They came from Germany.
Weapons of mass destruction. There was no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq.
Yes, there were.
No, there was not.
Yes, there were.
No, everyone knows
There was
wasn't.
massive amounts
little
of
bit of chemical-
gas and
You're just gonna
chemical
make up
agents.
fucking
Books, I got
bullshit.
you.
Was there chemical?
You guys have Adolf Hitler's speech. It's
Is this
from,
'cause I-
Antelope Publishing? It's one of my sponsors. In case you want to.
Okay.
Learn about Adolf.
Was there
There's some chemical weapons, but no nukes.
There was no nukes, but a weapon of mass destruction includes chemical weapons.
Okay, no, Iraq did not possess weapons of mass destruction, WMDs, at the time the U.S. led the invasion in fucking 2003. Like, what the fuck? Why are you just like...
Okay, your
coming up
ChatGPT
with
said that.
nonsense?
My
Sure about Jews and their
ChatGPT said,
lies.
yes, Iraq had chemical weapons and used them extensively, particularly
I put in
under
weapons
Saddam
of mass
Hussein's...
destruction,
Do you
not
know about the
chemical warfare.
Halajba? Do you know what the Halajba was?
The fuck are you talking about? Weapons of mass destruction.
I'm telling
You're
you.
talking about chemical
I'm
warfare.
telling
talking
you.
about weapons of mass destruction.
I'm
I
telling
put
you.
it right in. And
The
it said
Halajba
no.
was when Saddam Hussein brought in Palestinians and gassed the Kurds with weapons of mass destruction in order to take...
That's
In order to
Probably
take...
supplied by us. in
That's a
Israel.
weapon of mass destruction.
well, not according to fucking ChatGPT.
Confirmed use 1980 to 1988. Mustard gas, nerve agents,
And where did you get
sarin,
'em?
taboon, used against Iran. Thousands were killed, severely injured.
Okay.
The
And Israel was
Halajba
supplying
massacre.
Iran weapons back
Saddam
then.
used chemical weapons on the Kurdish city of Halajba in order aftermath discovery. UN weapons inspections later documented and destroyed large stockpiles of Iraqi chemical weapons. Iraq admitted to producing 3,859 tons of chemical weapon agents before the Gulf War.
I think it's different though between having gas and nuclear weapons.
It wasn't nuclear, but he did have a plutonium reactor.
Yeah, but he didn't have. He wasn't making a nuke.
He was making a plutonium bomb, and Israel blew it up.
He didn't have.
I think that's bullshit. Why does Israel have fucking nukes in the first place?
They stole them from America.
Bro, I don't care, and I love the fact that we do.
Okay, but you guys are like going fucking nuts about Iran having them, and you guys illegally acquired
You
them.
should too, because we have them, or supposedly have them.
You guys acquired
And
them
if
illegally.
Iran has
You're a
them-
state.
Do you know that Iran's target isn't even really Israel?
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
They don't give a shit about America.
Yeah.
They don't like
Are
us
you-
because
now
it's because we
trying
funded.
to
It's
tell me
Saudi
that
Arabia.
Iran is a fucking big threat to America.
It's Saudi Arabia, Dan.
Why would they want to kill Saudi Arabia over
Because
Israel?
you don't understand Islam. In Islam, the Sunni and the Shia have been at war with each other since the beginning of Islam.
Yeah.
If Iran destroyed Israel overnight and wiped it out, they're not done. They're not complete. Their game isn't over. Their story isn't finished. Their story finishes when their 12th imam comes and takes the Mecca and walks all the way to Saudi Arabia and conquers Saudi Arabia. Why do you think Saudi Arabia is entering into the Abraham Accords? And why did Qatar leave Iran?
That's why ISIS.
Why did
ISIS helps
Qatar
Israel.
leave Iran, give 1.2 trillion to Trump, and meet with Ronald Lauder, the chairman of the World Zionist Congress, on television? The Emir of Qatar met with Ron
Sold
Lauder.
out.
Sold out?
Yeah.
That's what you think it is?
Yeah.
So what does that mean, sold out? Like he had to be committed to Iran going to war against Saudi
Sided
Arabia?
with the Jewish supremacy.
He sided with Saudi Arabia.
Okay, who's siding with the fucking
with
Jews.
America and the money.
You want to know something? There's an expression that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And when it comes to Iran,
What are you saying?
there is no greater conflict in the world of hatred than the Shia versus the Sunni. They will kill each other till the end of time.
So why are they not doing it?
They are doing it constantly. Constantly. Everywhere on TV, you could see it. They even fight each other in the streets of England.
When is the last time Iran and Saudi went to fucking battle?
Iraq, because they battled Iraq. They bordered each other. Saddam Hussein.
proxy
Okay, so you're
wars.
talking about 20, 25
Yeah, and
years
then
ago?
no, not 25 years ago. And then afterwards, I was actually very involved in this, the Battle of Kirkuk, when the Iranians took Kirkuk from Iraq after we pulled out of Iraq.
Okay, but what's that got to do with America?
These are very important strategic things.
But I don't care. Like if
Look at
Saudi and
Yemen.
Iran blow each other up, I really
Look
don't
at
give a
Yemen,
shit.
Dan. Yemen is a very strategic point for the United States, for Europe.
Why?
Without the
Israel.
Suez
The canal.
without the
That's
Suez
why.
Canal, Europe is done. Europe, everything is going to be 8 times more expensive
The
in
only
Europe.
reason they were blockading us though was because of our support for Israel.
Do you
100%.
want? Remember when the Muslim Brotherhood took over Egypt? Would you want the Muslim Brotherhood to control all imports into Europe?
I would much rather them than Israel.
Well, Israel is about to build the Ben Gurion Canal, which is twice as big as the Suez Canal, and that's one of the most important things that's happening in the Middle East for all of Europe. When J.D. Vance launched the campaign in Yemen and said, "Why do we have to bail out Europe?" he was talking about the canal, because Egypt has all sorts of leverage that they use on Europe all the time. Sometimes in the canal, they'll be like non-hostile things because they don't want to open hostility. So maybe a tanker will get stuck in the canal. The Suez Canal is a one-lane canal. There's a lot of
the Houthis
traffic.
are controlling it, and that's kind of the issue.
Do you know how important that Suez Canal is to America?
I'm sure it's
Vastly
super fucking important. Yeah,
massively important.
obviously. Otherwise,
These
kids can't
Houthis
get
are not
to it.
our friends. Forget about Israel for now, Dan. Let's just talk as Americans. Let's talk about making sure you're a businessman, that you, as a businessman, can import your goods from wherever you want, and they're going to get to their
greatest threat
destination.
to that is Israel, because the Houthis are fucking pissed at Israel.
The Houthis are employed by Iran.
Okay, and they're pissed at Israel.
They're hired hands. They're mercenary soldiers. When they go to war and they shoot missiles into Israel, they don't shoot barrages. They shoot one at a time. And they've been decimated. It's not even a war. It's so I even feel bad for them that they have to fight on behalf of Iran like this. Hezbollah was taken out.
What's the point?
The point is that Iran wants to control all trade into Europe. Iran is the #1 financier of the Islamification of Europe.
Iran's not trying to stop our
Do you
trade.
think that the
I should be
Muslims-
more worried about Iran than Israel?
For sure. Do you think that the Islamification in Europe is a bad thing?
Well, I think the open borders that's perpetuated by this fucking Jewish nonsense that they want to
Right.
fucking...
Everything's
yeah.
to blame by the Jews.
Well, let's
Whites
see,
have no faculty.
Is it
Whites
happening-
can never
is it
fuck
happening
up.
in fucking Japan? Is it happening in fucking China? No, it's happening in the places that
They
fucking Jews are
forbade
in control.
Muslims. Actually, I just read this story recently that they've interned the Muslims in China and turned the mosques into places where they serve alcohol and throw parties for Chinese citizens. They've treated Muslims very differently than the West.
I find it very interesting that all the places that have it illegal to deny the Holocaust all have open borders.
Dan, did the Jews...
Maybe it's a coincidence.
Do you know how
Yes,
many
investing.
millions of people are in Europe?
Yeah, it's like 450 million or 500 million.
No,
something like that.
migrants.
No, they've opened the borders, but
They
who's opening
walked
the
there.
borders?
They walked
Okay,
there.
and these are poor people.
Do you
and they're
think
opening
that
the fucking
Israel
borders.
opened Turkey's borders to Europe?
No. I think
Okay, we're getting somewhere.
They probably helped
What's-
bomb
what's-
Libya.
How did the
point.
Jews flood Europe with all the illegals or all the Muslim migrants that are destroying Europe? When I grew up, I'm in my 40s. I don't know how old
Do you know
are.
how many fucking Jews have said, we need to, make this a melting pot. We need to destroy the white race. We need to...
Who said that?
I mean, I could give you a fucking list
wanna pull up
of
a meme again?
thousands and thousands of fucking Jews that have said this. It's always a
Well, I
fucking
showed you
Jew
the
that's
article,
saying
the one.
this. Always a fucking Jew that's saying that.
You
I
put-
hate white people.
When you say
Oh, I'm
stuff
Jewish.
when you say stuff like that, you make white people sound like they're incapable beings with no faculty.
No,
They can't
we're
mess
just-
up.
We're being controlled because of
I go
blackmail.
on the TV and I watch the Europeans and I see these German women, and it all started with Syria, by the way. There wasn't a mass migration crisis until Syria happened. You know that, right?
We had a fucking issue when they opened
There
the
was
fucking
migrants.
southern border. and another
Israel,
dude in
Israel wanted to
Syria.
overthrow Syria, though. That war was pushed
Now
by America. and
now
Israel.
we're in the greatest
Netanyahu
period.
talked about all the different countries that he wanted to topple.
Syria,
He said,
Libya.
if we get rid of Saddam, it's going to be great. If we get rid of Gaddafi, it's going to be great. All
And
these
none of it's been
countries
great,
are
yeah.
fucking absolute shitholes now. You can buy a
Yeah, but
slave
you-
in Libya
Gaddafi,
for
yeah.
$300 fucking dollars right now.
Listen.
So this whole Netanyahu, we have to topple this regime. We have to topple this regime. We'll add stability to the region. It's all fucking
just endless
bullshit.
wars.
It's all
You have to
bullshit.
understand, Israel has been at war with Iraq from the beginning of Israel. So of course Israel is going to come out and say, "Hey, we should go to war with this country."
They should fight their own fucking
But
wars.
you literally
my issue is
you
them
literally
lying to us
take
to
you
drag
literally
us
take
over
all
there.
the faculty away from the Bush family. Desert Storm happened in
Let me ask you this.
1990.
Do you think 9/11 was a controlled demolition, or do you think that
yeah,
they
it was
just-
definitely a controlled demolition.
Yeah. Okay. So who do you think did that?
The Bushes and the CIA.
Who do you think
Bushes
benefits
were
from
involved,
that?
but
Major
you
deep
don't
state.
think that Israel benefits from that? What about all these Israeli
I don't think
art
that.
students that were in there?
I don't believe that these 5 dancing Israelis is a bar high enough as
No, I'm not
evidence.
talking about that.
That's
I'm
not
talking about all the
evidentiary.
It goes
fucking
way
art
beyond
students
that,
that
though.
were in there planning fucking explosives. The fucking when they
Yeah.
lit up the side of the thing said E-team on it.
I know
and that
the
was
guy.
exactly
What's
where
his
the fucking
name? The
plane
guy who
hit.
owned the building. That was really
Lucky
sketch.
Larry.
Oh,
He
you
he was
think?
good friends
That
with
was
Benjamin
very
Netanyahu.
scary.
Who
The guy-
went out.
the
He
guy
went and
buys
got a
his
lease
best
right
friends.
Forget
before.
about
Build
making.
buildings
Forget about
and double
making
insures them.
He made
alliances with
4.5. He
people.
made 4.5
I know.
billion off that.
Listen, he should. That. I mean, is he still alive? I mean, he's
Yeah, I
like in
think
his
so.
90s if he's still alive.
So
No,
you-
that-
so
what
you
about all
don't
the
draw
betting
any
against-
correlation to fucking Israel there?
Not to Israel.
There was also major
To Larry,
betting against
yeah.
the stock market
Okay,
that day.
so Larry,
Jews can
Larry
do
benefited
wrong,
from
Dan.
that.
Jews can do
But Larry
damage.
was a Jew, and he
It
was a Jewish
doesn't
friend.
mean that they're acting on behalf of the Jewish people. George Soros is not king of the Jews.
But it seems like
Okay,
the
but they're
government, because
working
Netanyahu
together.
was friends with that guy. There was a Dancing Israelis. There was Urban Movers, which that's who they worked for. That guy fled to the country
There was-
right
there
after.
and let me
Mossad
tell you
agents.
something.
They caught a
Nobody
bunch of
is
Mossad
best
agents.
friends with Bibi Netanyahu. You
Well,
know,
they're friends. They're not
Bibi
best friends, but they're
Netanyahu has
friends.
one best friend. Yair Netanyahu. His
Is that
son.
in here?
No, I don't.
I know.
if
It's
they're not
really
working.
like.
There's definitely a lot of connections between 9/11. There's the Urban Movers. You know, their vans were spotted by Logan Airport, and where all the things went down.
So
the
like
Zim shifting.
when the
moved.
thing is when like you have to look at Israel. Israel has no allies in the world except the United States. Why would Israel attack the United States?
I think
What-
the CIA was in on it.
What
with
is
them.
it? What do they get from
USS
it?
Liberty? What
do
about
they
the
get?
Levant affair?
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll
They
get to that.
benefit every
One
time
subject
they do a
at a
false
time.
flag attack. You should. Why would they
I
do
think
it?
What?
I
No,
think- I think
what,
the
how did they
CIA
benefit?
Bush is
Well,
right
let's
on
go
with them.
through it. Let's go through it.
Why do
Levant
you-
affair. That was their first false flag
Oh,
attack.
flag.
They truly got caught.
Well, no.
red-handed,
Let's
right?
talk about 9/11 instead of bouncing around.
Well, I just want to go in chronological order.
Listen, it's hard in a good faith debate to within a minute have to talk about the Holocaust,
I think
9/11,
there's a lot- I think there's a
USS
lot in
Liberty
9/11.
in a
No,
minute.
there's a lot in
You gotta give me
9/11.
time. I mean, I could stay here all day.
When did they do it? And I'm trying to give you a chronological, order of when they attacked their own fucking citizens, when they
Dude,
attacked
you know
U.S. citizens,
9/11
when they attacked their allies to try and get benefit. And I'm going to give
The
you benefit if you
hijackers
want.
were in the same town as Israeli spies.
Wait, what are we talking about? What's
Or
what's 9/11 or
Well,
USS Liberty?
I mean,
Where are we going?
We could start at the Levant affair. That was the first false
I
flag
guess we'll go
attack.
backwards.
What is worse? Okay, let's go. Levant affair.
Yeah,
go
they're,
for
they're
it.
killing their allies to try and blame the
I don't know
Muslim
much about the
Brotherhood.
Levant
They
affair.
bombed America and British, and they tried blaming it on the Muslim Brotherhood.
Yeah,
so
they
they were
wanted
trying.
to
It was a
drag
false
us
flag
in.
attack. It was in 54, 56 or something. So
1956,
it was a long time ago around there. Yeah, so
6 years after Israel,
yeah.
1954.
They tried killing President Truman before that. The Stern game tried assassinating him with letter bombs.
False flag.
So they tried killing a president there. Then they did a false flag attack on America and Britain.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. I want to since we're let's use USS Liberty as like the anchor of this subject,
Okay.
as opposed to Levant or any of these things.
There's lots of them. Is the problem, but-
USS Liberty is 1967, right? 1967 war was an absolute miracle of survival. I know people who were in the war, actually. Every single person in Tel Aviv dug graves before they went to battle. Tel Aviv, when they came back, there was empty graves everywhere. We didn't
You're
think
not
we
gonna
were.
get me to feel
Let
bad
me-
for people
they
stealing
did
land.
I'm not
They did
asking you to
massacres there, too.
feel bad. I'm asking you to listen to me. I came here. I traveled far to be here with Jake. I don't want to like be talked over. I want to at least to be able to respond
Go
to you.
ahead.
Israel immediately came clean. First of all, before the U.S. said, "Hey, there was an attack," Israel said, "Hey, we accidentally did this attack."
That's not coming.
They
clean. It wasn't an accident.
apologized. Dan, let me
Well,
speak.
but let's go piece by piece. 'cause
Dan,
because
I don't want to
otherwise
have to have a moderator.
well, here's the
Jake
thing.
is strong enough to not have a
But
moderator.
here's
You
the thing.
can't be
Here's-
you
okay,
can't be
but
so
here's
beta
the
that
thing.
you need a
Here's the thing.
moderator.
Let me just say something. Here's the thing. If you say 15 different things and then we have to go back
You're the
and
one
dissect,
saying 50. I can't even get
No,
a
no, but
word in. I
let's-
feel like I'm debating David Duke again. Jeez.
Okay, let's
Maybe I'll
just,
do like a minute apiece.
okay, no, stop. Let's just talk about each piece of it. So you're saying that they took ownership of it, and I'm saying they didn't. So let's discuss that because that's the first point of contention. Let's sort that out, and then we'll move on because I think that's a big deal. Them saying that it was an accident is just total fucking bullshit. They
Okay,
were
can I
attacking
get back?
it for
Can
an
I
hour and a
finish?
half.
Can I finish, please?
Well, let's talk about that one point because I think that's very important. Like you're going to gloss over that and say like they
Dan,
took
my
accountability saying it
point
was an
has
accident.
probably like 20 sentences in
Okay,
it.
but that's what I'm saying. is
I
I'm not
can't-
going to remember all 20 sentences. So let's focus on the crux of this issue, which is you're saying they're taking accountability
Okay.
by saying it was an accident, and I think that's.
I heard you.
Yeah,
I
that's a
heard what you're
problem.
saying, and now I'm going to respond. Okay. So in the 1967 war, you have to understand the climate of Israel. Israel literally thought it was over. The whole country, the experiment, trying to create the Jewish homeland. Not one single, we didn't have allies.
So they
we didn't
bombed
have
a U.S. ship?
support. Let me speak. First of all, it was hellfire. There was friendly fire against Jews, Jews against Jews. People were just shooting at any moving thing. A duck flying in the sky, they shooting at it.
That wasn't happening.
There was so much fear and dread and panic in the 1967 war. Context is important.
Buddy,
They were running over
People don't just
Palestinians and
shoot their own
bulldozers.
fucking people
You know
all
who
the
does?
time.
You know who does?
They were committing
civilians
massacres
who
during
are
that
fighting
time.
a war. And 1967 was you had some trained people in the Israeli military. You had a lot of civilians. Everyone got drafted. Young men, old men.
They'd pretty much
they were all there.
already-
Now,
they'd
hold
already
on.
run the
Let me
war by that
finish.
point.
Let me finish.
All
It's
right,
a 2
all right.
against 1, and I can't even finish a sentence. That's not good faith.
all right.
So, if you're going to be moderator, you got to moderate.
I want to comment after this. Let's go. I wanna comment.
So here's the thing. USS Liberty shouldn't have been there in the first place. We, Americans, should not have been there.
Why not?
Because it was the middle of a battlefield. First of all,
It's
the
not true,
largest
it's the ocean.
the largest friendly fire incident took place between England and America. 35 people were killed, 34 on USS Liberty. Nobody cares about England doing a false flag, or not a false flag.
What was England's false flag?
There were many of them actually.
What
There were
was it?
several. The latest one was in Desert Storm, 1991.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about
Real quick on
Oh,
the
you want to
Liberty.
go farther back? The
No,
60s.
we're
Let me
talking-
talk-
we're talking-
1991 is
we're talking
irrelevant.
about
I'll say
that
something on
war.
Liberty real
We're talking
quick.
about the war of 1967. So I don't want to hear about Iraq and a foreign country that did this. I'm talking about the U.S. and Israel. So focus, let's get on the subject.
Israel said there's actually a soldier that an Israeli soldier that went to prison because he didn't fire on the ship, and because he didn't know if it was an American ship or
It had a
not.
huge American
and
flag.
other people were, because there was a lot of. But what this prison sentence of this Israeli does is it shows that Israel very heavily speculated that there were people they didn't know if it was American or not. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy.
Let me answer real quick.
But let me finish my point. I want to finish my point.
I've been going for a while. Let's be quick because I want to say
It's a
something.
2 against 1, bro. I should have the most
Jake,
amount of
I haven't
time.
cut it
let
that
me
much.
just- Let me just deal with
What
this
is
real
worse? What is worse? A country that declares war against America, a country that fights a war against America, or a country that has a friendly fire incident, apologizes, and pays out the families?
quick.
There's
Okay,
been
let me
multiple.
answer this.
What's
Let me
worse?
All right, let me
I'll let him
fucking
go down
talk.
real quick.
It's way worse to kill your fucking ally on purpose. Infinitely fucking worse. It's not even close.
You think
this
it was on
friendly
purpose.
fire, this friendly fire, which is complete fucking bullshit. Because I was in the Navy, you weren't. Okay, so I did 4 years in the Navy. I've been on a fucking ship. I know how it works. Like I've been in the fucking airplane. People don't just accidentally fucking light up a fucking boat. People don't just accidentally drop napalm. It's not like shooting fucking ducks in the sky. When you're in the fucking military, you follow very specific orders. You don't just fucking fire on random
The
ships.
American
Hold on,
military
hold
is
on.
very
Hold
well
on.
organized
I
compared to
let- hold on.
1967
I let
Israel.
You talk. Let me finish.
Go for it.
This
You barely let me
This
talk.
idea that like civilians are flying fighter jets is total fucking horseshit.
They weren't even fighter jets. They were jets with the
They were
with the
not
fans.
propellers. They were fucking jet fighters.
They were jets, but they
with
also
the
had
Star of fucking
propellers.
David on it. Let's just not spew bullshit.
I'm
They
saying
were-
that
they were
the
jets.
Israeli Air Force had not only jets
care. I
but
don't-
propeller jets.
okay,
That's how
that
unprepared they
wasn't-
were.
Okay, this was not a propeller jet. So stop trying to like paint a bullshit picture.
It wasn't a
This was an
propeller jet.
actual
It was a horrible thing that should never have happened.
No. This was an actual jet. They shot the ship for an hour and a half. They dropped napalm on the deck. They shot the fucking lifeboats, which is a fucking war crime. They brought in another ship to fucking torpedo the vessel. They brought in attack helicopters. They knew it was a U.S. warship because you fly fucking flags. I was in the military. You have a big fucking flag flying. You've got USS whatever on the fucking hull of the boat. Like it's on the stern. It's very, very obviously identified U.S. warship. They flew over multiple times to check. They got the order and they attacked. And the only person that got thrown in jail was the person that didn't want to fucking attack. Probably because they realized that it was a fucking U.S. ship. And then afterwards, they took life rafts and they put them on fucking display as trophies. Okay? So don't tell me this was like some accident that's just horseshit.
I'd like to add one thing real quick.
Hold on. Let him respond. We can't double fucking.
he's
team
been
this.
waiting.
Right.
Go.
Well, I just want to add one thing real quick. The war was pretty much over at the time. He said they were freaking out. They were when that was there. They were doing massacres. They were running over people in bulldozers. They were massacring children. And every single person, everyone that was on the Liberty, they all say it was a cover up. Like I've talked to a ton of the guys. You know, they just had their rally last
Not
week.
everybody on the
shut it down.
Liberty says it's a
I
cover
mean,
up.
pretty damn close.
A lot of the families received large financial sums from
They
Israel.
put a gag order on them. I mean, it was a total fucking horse.
Let me ask you a
Wait, I'll let
question.
I'm trying to speak.
Okay,
I'll try to be fair.
How
and
old are
moderate.
you? You're in your 40s?
Yeah.
You're also in your 40s, right? So you're telling me right now that a dispute, clearly it's a dispute, in 1967, 20 years before we were born, 15 years maybe before you were born, is the determining factor of why Israel's your enemy today?
Absolutely
They
not.
do it over and
Hold
over.
on. This was not the first. That's why I brought up the Levant affair. When you actively target your
Levant
fucking-
affair was 10 years before
Hold
that.
on. When you actively target your allies, it's like when I'm dating a bitch. If she cheats on me multiple fucking times, I'm not going to trust the bitch. Well, if I'm allies with a fucking country,
We have 5 minutes left.
5 minutes before the studio closes.
Oh shit.
fuck
We
those
didn't even get to smoke
motherfuckers.
weed, man.
All right. If you are
Dan,
allies with a
you
country-
hijacked this. This was actually a really good thing. I'm actually very disappointed in you because we
guys
really
should talk a
wanted to
little more,
talk,
and
and I really wanted to, you know, there's so many subjects, and the one thing I hate is just like when other people like hijack other people's spots. And I'm glad that you came because I'm glad that we got to meet. I don't like having to finish up such a sensitive conversation in 5 minutes because the studio has to
I
close.
see. Let me see if we can close a little more. It's a little fucking.
We had
ridiculous. Yeah, hold on. Let me see.
we had a whole plan for today, and you kind of just took it over.
But because you're
you don't
saying
think
things that
Jake,
weren't
yeah,
true,
because you
dude.
don't trust Jake.
No,
You
but
think
you're-
that
no, but
Jake
you're-
is losing the
no, you
debate,
were
and you got to
saying
come
things that
in and you
weren't
got to
true.
bombard everything.
No,
and
you're saying things that
kind of
aren't
just like
true.
steamroll
So
everything.
if you're
I'm
having a-
saying very true things,
No,
but
you
I
didn't-
can't even
no, you
get
were
through a
not.
sentence with you.
You were not
And that's the
saying true
difference
things.
between you and Jake, because Jake, when Jake and I were talking, it was like it was easy to speak. There wasn't raised voices in the conversation.
But he didn't know that you were lying to him. I know that you were lying.
But I'm not lying to him.
Yes, you were.
Just because you say that I was
I
lying to
literally
him.
proved to you that the fucking mobile gas chamber was.
You were
was
saying that
invented
the
by a
Rambam was
Jew.
the Talmud. You're like pulling all
Okay,
these
the
memes out of
Mishnah-
the
the
thing.
Mishnah Torah
you
was
get
the
all
one
your
thing that was
memes
not-
from news,
No,
Dan.
the Mishnah Torah was
Everything
the one
that you're
quote-
pulling is some meme
no.
thing.
The Mishnah Torah was the one quote that was not directly in the Talmud, but it's still a part of fucking Jewish text, and it's still something that you guys.
All right,
you know,
since I got you,
read.
I want to talk about other things. Let's talk about this. Why is it that anti-Semites will align themselves? I want your honest opinion. Why do they align themselves? And maybe you're not like this. Maybe you're a purist. It just seems like anyone who attacks Jews is all of a sudden friends. Muslims, gays, trannies, Nazis, they all are kumbaya moment. Why is that?
I don't think that's the case. I think that it's a
But it
common
is the case.
problem because when people attack, Israel or whatever, they
Are
get-
you playing Kanye's song, the HH song? Do you like it?
No, because they've deleted it from every streaming platform.
Let's say in its original content. Do you like it?
Yeah, I think it's catchy.
You like it.
I think it's a good song. Yeah.
But when he talks about how he likes watching other men fuck his wife, do you like that too?
I didn't hear that lyric.
It's like the first lyric in the
Well,
song.
the problem is the Jews.
Let me read it.
refused to
It's the
allow
Jews' fault that
Well,
Kanye said that.
Listen to what I'm saying. You didn't even
It's
let me
the
finish.
Jews.
Who stopped allowing
Okay.
his song to be streamed on any platform.
HH
Is that true or not?
lyrics. Everybody's got the song. You can
No,
get
no,
it
no, no,
anywhere.
No. The question was, did the Jews stop that song from being streamed on any platform? They took it off Spotify. They took it off Apple Music. They took it off.
Think
almost
that I'm
any way
stuck
that
in
you
the
could-
Matrix. Where the fuck is my nitrous? Yes, I am a cuck. I like when people fuck on my bitch. The shit that I'm posting on Twitter, they telling me, hey, don't say that. This is the first lyric of the song.
Okay.
Isn't that weird? Like how alpha bros are just like so down for cucking all of a sudden.
I don't think that's what it is. I think that's what you're trying to make it.
That's
but-
the lyric, bro.
Yeah,
I just read
okay,
it to you.
there's one lyric
You're
in there.
reading like Mishnah Torah telling me it's Talmud. I'm reading you the lyric. Should I go through more?
Go ahead. I haven't heard the song in its entirety, so go ahead.
Yeah, you just hear the
I
HH
just
part.
told you can't fucking download it anywhere because the Jews cut it off from every
the Jew-
streaming
it's
platform.
the Jews,
Is it
nobody
not?
else, nobody
who-
else.
Oh, who did it then?
Nobody,
Who
dude,
did
you
it?
could get it from
No,
anywhere.
tell me who did it because it's not on Spotify. It's not on Apple Music.
It's on
not
Twitter, dude. I could download it on the internet
Twitter's
right
the
now.
only place And you can't download it from Twitter and put it in your iTunes library.
Everybody's got it. They made like country versions of it. They made cartoon versions of it.
It's got to be kind of scary to
They
use a
made
Jew,
so
huh?
it's not scary at all. It's actually the funniest song ever because these like alpha cucks have literally been talking. Oh, the cuck this motherfucker's a cuck, and that motherfucker. We love Kanye, and Kanye is like literally sucking his cousin's dick
I never
one
said I
week,
love Kanye.
and
I
then
don't like
watching,
that he
and just because
doubles
he
back.
says HH, everybody's like, oh, he
No,
could cuck, and cucking isn't so bad.
I'm not a huge Kanye fan. I think he doubled back on this. I don't like the fucking KKK shit. I don't think he comes with facts. Like, there's a reason that I'm fucking against Jewish supremacy, and I articulate it. He doesn't. He just says, you know, fuck the Jews. I'm a Nazi. I'm a KKK
What do you think the
member,
solution
whatever
is
it
to the Jews, Dan?
I think that anybody that's in power needs to have responsibility. Hold on, just let me
I'm not
finish.
answering.
You asked me. So anybody that's in power needs to be able to be criticized. So Jews are disproportionately in power, yet you guys want to make yourselves in this victim class where nobody can fucking, you know, criticize you. And that's the fucking big problem.
Why do you say that Jews took $800 million? Didn't you? What happened with your business?
Okay, now you're just
No, I'm
spitting out nonsense.
curious because it's not nonsense. I'm curious because the internet posts all this news about
you. Said, why did I say that the Jews took $800 million? That's just nonsense. You're just saying
then for the
complete
world, because
bullshit.
everybody's listening, explain what happened.
Everybody's not listening. I think we have like 11,000 people on here. But anyways,
they will listen. We had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that were tuning in. Because of technical difficulties, they'll watch it later.
Okay,
Answer the question.
I never said the Jews took $800 million.
And if nobody was listening, you wouldn't have felt the necessity to come down here and back up Jake.
I was listening, and it was offensive to me to listen to him get lied to. So that's why I came down here, is because you were lying to him. And like, I know who invented the mobile gas chamber. It was a fucking Jew. So you trying to say
all
that,
I was saying was that mobile gas
Christians.
chambers were used in the Holocaust.
No, they weren't.
My chat GPT said yes. Your chat GPT says no. It's like we could go back and forth over this.
A Jew invented that before World War II
Dan, we're
to kill
losing
Christians.
the manliness of this
it's
debate.
Important, though.
You're bringing the
very
manliness.
important
I'm
context.
disappointed in you. I've been watching you even before I was a figure. And like you're always seen as like this alpha male, 100 chicks. I'm the man. You got your new Sigma thing or whatever. You're like teaching men how to be men. And like it's just you just kind of like made this space a little bit less manly. I got to be honest.
I mean, if people are taking masculinity advice from you, then I feel bad for them. The point is,
you know, two men can talk without having to raise their voice, allow each other to speak, and have a conversation.
Sometimes
when you get into a
cutting off
spurgy
people.
debate, like you're the one who cut off. You literally crashed the debate to cut me off.
He asked me to come here, but yes,
he asked you to
You
come.
did say it was cool if Dan came by.
At the end, I said if he comes at the end. He came 30 minutes into the debate. We didn't even get to smoke weed.
It was like 50 minutes in, but
you know, we had an entire plan to smoke weed together. We were going to break the internet.
You guys have all night to smoke weed together, and that's fucking cute. But
on the stream, Dan.
Okay, dude, whatever, man. I've been fucking smoking weed since you were a little kid. That's not the point.
Hey,
yeah, I don't smoke weed no more.
Let's go.
I don't smoke it no more.
I bought him this
Kicking
bong
sand.
just so that we could smoke together. Let's do it, Jake. Come on.
We let us smoke
Buddy,
in the
I'm not getting
studio,
high.
or
We got a few more fucking minutes. Like,
yeah,
here's
let's
the
finish
thing,
up.
dude.
We'll
Like,
smoke outside.
No, let's smoke on the stream. Everybody's here. Let's have a Jew smoke weed with some Nazi adjacents. Come on,
Choose
man.
Nazi weed. All right, fuck it.
Be
I'll get
brave.
some weed.
I don't want to smell that shit. I gotta.
Then maybe we
let's just
should
do it
smoke
outside. I don't
weed
know
so
if we-
you leave.
I don't know if we can smoke in the studio either.
I know he'd have a better time with the debate if I wasn't here, but I want to like keep this like factual. And the problem is he doesn't have.
No,
as
you're
much facts about
babysitting.
this.
You're not doing facts. You're
No,
babysitting
listen,
Jake.
No, I'm giving you the factual fucking evidence of everything that I'm saying. So like
You're not. You're
just saying,
you're
this
pulling
is like what typical
memes.
Jews do. They subvert and they lie.
You
and I'm
are like
holding you
David Duke.
accountable.
You just don't stop talking. You're not
Okay,
holding
that's
me
not
accountable.
An insult, by the way, I don't care. Like you think that I'm like David Duke?
No,
Okay,
I mean
whatever.
like he just talks a lot. He never lets a word in.
I mean, I just don't like when you fucking bullshit and then there's no pushback.
Dan,
because
you're not
then
going to
people
like
assume
everything that
true.
everybody does in the world.
I know, that's why I'm stopping it.
You're not stopping
I
it.
am.
The Soviets invented the mobile gas.
I know they did.
Okay, but they
And
were
and
used
did
in the
that to
Holocaust.
kill Christians. by the
Nobody
way.
said that that the Nazis invented it.
Yeah,
I
it's
said
a
that they
small-
were
it's a
used.
small point
You guys
anyways.
are taking like
It's a small point,
That's what I'm
so-
saying. This
Okay.
is like an Andrew Wilson type of thing. You like you hyper fixate on the most small things so you could distract yourself from every other point of the
No, let's
argument
talk
you're
about something
losing.
else.
I think the big stuff
what
is
point
like-
am I losing?
Oh my God, dude! I'm like required to answer
Just name
17 topics in 2 minutes. All of that. That means you're
name
losing.
one.
That means.
Name one topic that you think that I'm wrong on.
Oh, let's go down. What topic? Mishnah Torah. You were wrong about Mishnah Torah.
Oh, okay.
Judaism
So that
does
was
not
one
promote
thing that wasn't
pedophilia. Pedophilia is outlawed in the Talmud. Sexual harassment is outlawed in the Talmud.
That's
Consent
bullshit.
of marriage is required by the actual person, not the parent. That is an actual law. That is an actual law from the Mishnah Torah.
Why are you guys allowed to rape non-Jews?
We're not allowed to rape
Really?
non-Jews.
Then why didn't that guy go to jail when they had him on?
I don't know what
video?
you're talking about.
They
The guy
were-
that raped him in prison.
I don't know
they
what you're
did
talking
do that,
about.
You
and there
didn't
was some
fucking read the
rabbis that
news?
condoned it.
I don't know what you're
He was
talking
literally
about.
on video raping a Palestinian prisoner. It's not like
It was a
this
gang-
is not
it was a gang rape.
conjecture. This isn't like conspiracy theory. It's on public television, and now the guy's.
And did he go to jail?
They brought him
No,
on
he's
TV.
a
They brought him on
celebrity
TV
in
to do
Israel
reality
now.
shows.
You know what? We shouldn't smoke weed on this podcast.
He's a celebrity.
You want to know
Next
why?
time.
We shouldn't smoke weed because I feel like you kind of ruined the podcast, Dan.
I mean, I don't think you guys should smoke weed because I don't want you guys to get any fucking dumber. I want you guys to learn this shit.
You're the
because it's
dumbest
important.
element in this conversation.
Yeah, this is
Am I
not-
though?
let's-
Because you haven't been able to refute
let's-
one
let's
single
keep- let's keep it
thing.
friendly and not
Listen,
insult each
I'm not
other.
even allowed 20 seconds on an answer
To have 20
because you're
seconds, go ahead.
babysitting. Literally, I
Maybe
gotta
you guys
tell
should
you.
both
I
give,
gotta
like,
tell
30
you. Big
seconds
shout out
apiece.
to
Let's
Owen
not- let's not
Schroyer.
switch
I was
to, like,
talking to Owen
insults.
Schroyer about this a lot. Infowars is really excited to have two men sit down and have a
I
conversation.
think you guys have a good conversation. You
I'm
should just stop
prepared-
insulting each other.
Infowars is scared as fuck to have me on there because they don't
Yeah.
want to face the truth because they're fucking owned by Israel.
That's
Twice,
what
twice Alex
fucking
pretended like
hell.
he
Alex
was happy
is
on,
owned
then
by
backed
Israel.
out.
Here we
Why
go
won't he-
again.
Kind of
why
is.
won't we talk about everything except for the fucking Jews?
They talk about the Jews all the
No, he
time.
doesn't.
All the time. Are you kidding me? You kidding me?
The globalists. The globalists.
No.
The
Do you watch
globalists.
Harrison Smith? Do you watch Owen Schroyer? Do you watch Alex Jones?
Those
Just
two
because
do.
Some of Alex
here's the
Jones'
thing,
stuff.
just because Alex Jones doesn't jump on your it's the Jews for everything
No, it's just always
bandwagon,
the globalists.
you attack him.
It's always the global. What the fuck is the globalists?
The globalists are a conglomerate of very powerful, wealthy ultra billionaires of many different races who conspire together to control the world for their elite small group of society, heavily influenced by the World Economic Forum, by other different agencies.
That happen to be Jewish?
World Economic Forum is literally Nazi.
No, the neocons, the fucking globalists, it's all just words.
They're not. That's what I'm saying.
Almost
To
all
you,
the neocons
everyone
were
is Jewish.
Really? Like 11 out of the 12 most prominent neocons were fucking Jewish.
Here we go again, dude. It's
You
like,
think I'm wrong?
no, yeah, George Bush,
Okay, there's one.
the Koch brothers. They financed the entire neocon movement. The Walmart family. I mean, like, we're talking about, like, just there, I just put together $150 billion worth of money for Neocon Inc. But no, the Jews.
I'll give you the. I just.
Oh, you're Chat
top neocons.
GPT.
You know, there's definitely a lot of them. I'm not trying to go
Paul
two on one,
Wolfowitz,
but the
first
majority of
one.
them are.
Richard Pearl, William Crystal, Howard Kagan. They're all fucking Jewish. Every single one of them. It's like, dude, like out of these
shame.
people, it's like one is not Jewish. Go ahead, go through the list. Is Wolfowitz, is he not Jewish? Is Pearl not Jewish? Is Crystal not Jewish? Is Kagan not Jewish? They're all fucking Jewish. I literally just put in top neocons. That's all I said. Who were the top neocons? The only search I did.
No, I know most of them are.
Is that
So-
your
I was
Chat
just trying
GPT?
not
You're
to go
like,
two
you're
on
like
one.
just cherry picking a couple that aren't Jewish. It's
Let's
just like
switch
so
it to
funny.
what is
Top
why is anti-Semitism?
neocon.
Who's to blame for anti-Semitism?
Hold on.
Jewish behavior or people like me and Dan?
Douglas Faith, John Bolton, Victoria Newland, Dan
There's a few of them that
Senior.
aren't.
Okay, Paul Wolfowitz,
Do you
Elliot
understand-
Abrams, Richard Pearl, Paul Burmer,
Do you understand
Douglas
that-
Faith, Bernard Lewis, Lulu Schwartz. One is not Jewish.
This is
Richard Pipes,
exhausting.
Daniel Pipes, David Horowitz, another Jew, Robert Kagan, another
Switch
Jew.
the subject.
Like,
I'm gonna smoke, dude, because this is stressful.
because you can't debate. I mean,
you're not even. You weren't even a part of the debate. I literally traveled here to debate Jake.
and he said,
you're
he said
babysitting
you
him.
said to come over here.
I thought that
He
meant at the
invited me on the
very
debate.
end. I didn't think that meant that I
It
was
the very
debating
end. You guys were
you.
45 minutes into the fucking thing.
By the way, this is me not giving a
What is that?
fuck.
I mean, yeah,
It's
don't know.
water.
this is
We
you
smoking
washing
here now.
away your fucking sorrows after losing the
I think
debate.
we need
Losing
to,
the debate.
I spoke outside.
Losing the debate.
Smoke.
All right. Thank.
fucking prove that all the fucking neocons, all the top neocons were
I think we
Okay.
can smoke outside.
All right, we'll smoke out. I'll smoke
film it
outside.
out there.
But I want to wrap this up with you. Let's